welcome back to Bryce Tinley Music. Alright, so today's a really fun lesson. We are going to learn one of the tricks that I learned later in my guitar life that just helps with all the soloing, okay? So later on in this series, I'm going to teach you about major scales, minor scales, the modes, hammer-ons, pull-offs, all of this stuff. I'm going to teach you about tapping, I'm going to teach you about all of the fun things, okay? However, when you're starting out, all you want to do is know how to solo. You just don't care. I didn't care at all, okay? I just wanted to pick up a guitar, my friend would play some chords, and I just wanted to rip some solos as best as I could and still sound awesome, alright? Whether or not I knew nothing or not, I would just hit random notes, okay? I was jamming with a friend later in my guitar life, and he showed me this super basic, super easy pattern that I don't actually need to know what I'm doing, more or less, and it just sounds smicky mick. It sounds really good, okay? So I'm just going to teach you that today, and then we'll move on to the actual theory side of stuff later, in later episodes, basically. Okay, so what this solo pattern is, because it's a pattern, the way I remember it is 3 and then 2. What I mean by that is, for today we're going to do it in the scale of G, in the tune of G. So if they're soloing or they're playing chords like this, they're in the key of G. The reason being is they're playing G most often. Okay, so when in doubt, you don't know what key it's in, just look for the chord that's being played the most, more or less, okay? Now, we know the notes in each string because we've addressed it already. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find my G note, which is the 3rd fret on the E string, this one right here. Nice. Now, the pattern you need to remember is 3, then 2. So you're going to go 3 whole notes. So we're going to skip any sharps or flats. We're going to go 1, 2, 3. So we're skipping any sharps or flats. We're going the whole hog. 1, 2, 3. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Alright, pretty easy. Now, from here, the next thing I told you to remember is 2. We're going to go down a string, down to the A string. Our fingers don't move, they're going to stay here, and they're going to move just down a string, and we're going to go 1, 2. Again, whole notes, we're missing the flats and sharps. So, the 5th and the 7th fret in this case. So if I do that again nice and slow, we're going to go 1, 2, 3, down a string, 1, 2. So you're on the E string, 3rd fret, 5th fret, 7th fret, down a string to the A string, 5th fret, 7th fret. Right, so 3, 2. Now we remember that pattern again, 3, 2. So what we're going to do, move down a string, 3, move down a string again, and do 2. So, starting on the G note, so that's 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Okay? Now it's the same pattern again. However, when you move to the B string, much like how it's different when you're tuning, the string is, you need to move the 3 pattern just up 1 fret. So you start, instead of starting here, start here. So instead of starting on the 7th fret, you start on the 8th. And that's just because when you're tuning, you have to move your finger back a half step to find the right tuning. There is more actual musical theory side of why this is a thing, but for now, just remember that when you hit that B string, hit the 8th fret, not the 7th. Instead of going straight down, you're hitting the fret right in the middle of the 2, like that. This is one of those things that's you just have to remember it. It's weird, but you've just got to remember. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, straight down a string, 1, 2, straight down a string, 1, 2, 3, down again, 1, 2, straight down a string, but we're starting in the middle like that. So we're going, instead of going to the 7th fret and the 9th fret, we're going to the 8th fret. We're going to go 3, 1, 2, 3, and then straight down again, 1, 2. So the whole thing without me interrupting is like this. Okay. That's it. That's all you need to know, and you can solo any way you need, right? Like if they're doing G, you can just do that scale. Right? And then all soloing is hitting notes in creative ways. Okay? So you can do whatever you want. You know what I mean? Whatever solo comes to you. That's another thing you just have to practice. Like, you don't just look at riffs and solos and become an amazing soloist. You have to learn and practice the scales, and then in those scales, try to find your own little unique thrills or hammer-ons or sequences, or you copy someone else. Like if you love John Mayer, you watch a John Mayer song, learn a solo and steal some of his styles and apply it to yourself. Because every single guitarist is just a combination of lots of different people who've inspired them. Shocker, right? So, G, you find the note, you find the root, so whatever chord they're playing most often, you start with 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, but with the finger adjusted, 1, 2. Now I want you to be able to do up and down fluidly and almost without thinking. That is when you're at the perfect level of knowing a scale, because you can do it without thinking, meaning you can do it in a solo with just the feel of what you want it to sound like, right? Now, there is another scale you can use as well. If you think, it's basically the same thing but reversed. If you think the 1, 2, 3, think of the 3 as a major. So you'll always start on a major chord with the first 3 notes, with that 3 notes, then 2 notes, then 3 notes, okay? So if they're playing in a major key, so it sounds happy, whatever it is going to start with 3. Now, if the song sounds sad, it's in a minor key, okay? So all you do is, instead of starting with 3, you start on the 2. Then you go to the 3. Okay? So for the minor version of this, because you have to have a major and a minor scale if you want to expand your soloing, instead of going 1, 2, 3, you start on a 1, 2, and then you go down a string, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and the pattern just repeats. Remember, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, the whole way. All you're doing is you're going through all the modes, hitting specific notes, but in an easier pattern to understand than actually knowing the modes, right? Okay. That is basically it. That's all of it, right? So next time you're with your friends and they're playing a G chord, they're playing a C, a D, just watch, see what note they're playing most often, what chord I should say. Find that chord, find that note on the string, wherever it is, whether it's A, whether it's B, whether it's C. And just try it, going 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. And you'll hear if it's right or wrong. And then if it's wrong, okay, well, just go along the top string till you, find a note that's in. And you go, alright, well, my 3 pattern works there. So then, therefore, that has to work and that has to work. And it's an easy scale to understand, because even if you don't know what key they're in, you can just trace a note. You can just trace a string, right? So you're like, that note's in key, because you can hear it that it's in key. And then you just try the 3 pattern. Well, that didn't work. Try the 2 pattern. Oh, well, that works. So that means if I go down a string now and try the 3 pattern, oh, well, that worked. Therefore, that's where the pattern starts, right? And you just substitute in the blanks, knowing that it's going to go 3, then 2, then 3, then 2. Okay? So hopefully this makes sense. Again, this isn't anything technical. This isn't any kind of like legitimate scales. It's just you running through the modes in a sloppy kind of slab together way so that you can solo without actually knowing anything, right? It's great to begin with, but as you can tell, it's a little hard to explain because it's just a feeling, right? I can't describe it in the same way you can describe a major or a minor scale, which have kind of a guideline to follow, but it does help you solo quickly, and it does give off the illusion that you know what you're doing, and it does make guitar a little bit more fun, okay? And that's, at the end of the day, if you don't know any scales, but you can still have fun with a solo, then, like, stuff scales, right? Like, but I digress, okay? So as long as you're having fun, it's good, but practice, 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 and that should be all for this lesson, and we'll hit up some real scales next time. Okay, see ya.